On the side of it.
No, it has one button on the top of it that turns it on.
Boop.
Yep.
Mine doesn't
And then
even have a
it
button.
sits there.
It just knows when to.
I
turn
got
it
it in
on.
2001.
Well, that's weird. It's saying that the window is minimized, but it is not minimized. It's
Nice.
right there. It is right fucking there, and I see it. There we go. Oh, and I fucked up the things because I took it off streamer mode. How do I turn streamer mode back on?
It's in your settings, I think.
Streamer mode. Boop. Escape. And we're back to lined up. We did it. Okay.
As a team.
Okay. Well, whenever you guys are ready, I will start the podcast. Good luck, fellas.
We'll need it.
Yeah. All that.
All right.
All that.
Just count us down, Papa.
All right. 5. I'm doing Wayne's World still. So it's 5, 4, and then no other numbers, but you do it by hand.
That's great.
Okay. All right. 5, 4.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. I'm your favorite one trick here, Kill Zill, hosting again because Papa Smurf is still dead, unfortunately. And yeah, I'm here with my yeah, right. He should have taken revive. No, I'm here with my favorite double bombs. I've got Astros and Danger Penguin here to hang out with us. So, and we're gonna talk some League. So, hey guys,
how's it going?
What's up? It's your boy.
Nice.
You're nobody's boy, Astros. It's all right.
Yeah, you right. No one loves me.
Yeah, I'm back by popular demand. I heard overwhelmingly positive results, so that's why I'm back. Thanks to all of the Danger Penguin fans out there.
That's what I'm hearing from you, anyway, Danger. I've not heard that from anybody else, but
that's okay as long as someone's saying it.
We're gonna.
Yeah, I have multiple.
That's
reviews.
how that works. All right.
I can read my reviews if you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you write them yourself?
I did not.
Oh. Okay, I believe that.
I don't know how. I can't type the way these people type. It actually like forms a cohesive sentence.
Oh, that's fair. That does help your argument.
I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, let's see. We're going to talk a little bit about Worlds because that stuff's fun right now. If anybody's been watching any of those games, and then a little later on, we'll talk about support and kind of give some intro as to how you should come at the role as a beginner player, as a beginner support player. Some picks that you should probably focus on learning how to play, and just general principles of what to look out for, what to do. So anyway, let's start the Worlds discussion. So Go C9, holy shit. That has been awesome to watch. I don't know if you guys saw those games or not.
I have seen every game.
Okay.
So I'm well acquainted with C9's trip to the semifinals, and I think if you haven't watched Worlds, this is the best time to do it. You can go back on some VODs, watch them, forward through the slow parts if you want to, but there are so many good games that you have to watch. And I always equate it to, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to watch a video game. I might as well just play instead. Well, you probably played sports when you were younger, and now you want to watch really good people play those sports. And it's a whole different game watching it on that level. So like if you enjoyed playing hockey and now you like watching the NHL, it's very much the same. You enjoy playing League, but when you watch these guys at their best, it's just a whole new world, and it's fantastic.
It's like watching me.
Yes, it is very similar to watching Astros, only much much better.
I don't know, dude. I spanked you in community games last night.
You really did. Yeah, you really did. It was an impressive run. He chose his main, and then he played it against like 3 silvers. Myself, who chose a player I haven't played in 2 years, and he carried the game. He was
so
very
defensive,
proud.
Danger.
Better jungler wins, Danger. Calm down over there.
You like had a case ready to explain away.
I don't have a case. You could just look at the scores, and you know. I mean, I was 4-10. I got railed in my jungle.
Oh man.
What have you enjoyed watching, Astros?
Fnatic.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean,
Because
Fnatic
okay,
is
so
fantastic.
I'm actually just watching the Fnatic series right now. I watched game 1, and I'm halfway through game 2. But it doesn't look good for Fnatic so far.
I really like Broxa. Broxa's playing really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they won, so, but I haven't seen it yet.
Broxa's a
so.
beast. Caps is just kind of me getting dicked.
Yeah.
Not like inting, but like
and let's it was just this round, like
No,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going back, or if you're going back to groups,
wait, he
Caps
got-
was very very good.
Caps lost lane to Rookie all 3 games.
Rookie is the best player in the world,
No,
ranked
I know.
number 1
Well,
for a
people
reason.
are saying Caps.
You
is
can
Baby
lose
Faker.
to Rookie and still help your team win, which is exactly what he did.
I think he got carried, and then he just happened to be playing that broken champion that we know, that Akali, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Which broken champion in mid? Are you
The
talking to
Akali,
Kali or
the
talking to Relia? Like which one are we going for?
The
right
super one, the super broken one. Speaking
But
of Akali, then you got Perks. Perks is playing out of his mind on Akali in particular.
now? Oh yeah, Perks has been. I mean, it's been his lane kingdom, as he likes to call it. That has been his zone, and I think no one's more surprising than G2, because I think some people could see C9. Maybe it's because of North American bias, but I don't think anybody saw G2 coming out of that group.
I don't
No,
think anyone
that's
saw
true.
them getting out of groups in general.
I mean, a lot of people put G2 right where 100 Thieves were, fourth, as what people thought was going to happen. So
Hey, 100 Thieves came third.
they
all right?
did.
They won 1 game.
They won 2 games, both versus G-Rex.
Oh,
But you were close.
G-Rex didn't lose or didn't win.
They didn't lose in the play-ins, and then they didn't win in the group stage.
Ah.
So, but there are a ton of awesome games to watch, and I would say if you can only go back and watch like one day of Worlds, go back and watch Group B day, the final day of Group B. You had Vitality, you had C9, you had RNG, and you had SSG, and you had just epic games.
It's
like
not
they were.
Solid
SSG
teams, yeah.
anymore.
You know who it was. It's Genji, right? Okay. That's the only reason people got pick'ems right, is because they didn't think they were SSG.
We don't have to talk about Genji. That's not even a team. Like,
So-
who's their mid laner? Crown? Like, the
Yeah.
worst mid laner I've seen at this tournament ever?
I wouldn't say the worst, but he definitely
No,
struggled.
I'd put I'd take G-Rex's mid laner over Crown.
You got to go back and watch those games, though. They are phenomenal. They are exciting. You have Vitality playing their own game. You have C9 playing their own game. You have RNG playing their own one, and it was one of the best days of viewing that I've ever experienced.
That sounds great. Yeah, I'll put that on my list to do, because I only started watching when I've heard Cloud9 was playing, and I joined up with some of the community members, and I was like, hey, yeah, I got some time off tomorrow. I can stay up late and watch. And yeah, like I got like super excited and into it all of a sudden. I'd always supported Cloud9, but like I kept track of what was happening. But yeah, to see it actually in action, that 3-0 taking that series was awesome. And it's kind of been like, so my roommates here are all really into football right now. I live in Kansas City, and the Kansas City Chiefs are doing really well. And so
Patrick
I've been
Mahomes,
like,
man.
yeah, he's great, but whatever. It's like I don't really care about football that much, and they've been like dominating the television. So anyway, I brought in the World's games and put those on the TV for the family to watch, and it's been really hilarious. Like walking people through what's actually happening on the screen, and like they're actually getting excited for me because it's my team, Cloud9, doing so well. So yeah, it's been really great. I'm excited to watch more games.
How about
Previously-
TSM? TSM's been playing really well at Worlds.
Yeah, they've been phenomenal. In fact, they have the least amount of losses they've ever obtained at Worlds.
They have the least amount of losses in the tournament.
No, I agree with you though, Zell. You can get friends who don't play League into watching League. I have a friend who I convinced, just because me and one of my other friends were talking about League, and he was like, wow, this sounds like really exciting. You guys sound like really into it. I had him start watching League in the spring split, and he still watches. He's never played the game, has
Yeah.
no desire to play the game, but loves watching the game. And so
Yeah.
you can find a way to get people into it still.
And they're kind of amazed by like the casting, and honestly, I have been too. Like the casting is so on point.
I mean, they have just the best groups. I mean, I
Yeah.
love Captain Flowers. I absolutely do. I
Yes.
think he's phenomenal. Who they have with Captain Flowers this last round? It was a great trio.
I
think it was
didn't really pay attention to their
DeFiccio
names.
and
I don't know
Papa
them as
Smithy.
well.
I
That
think it was
sounds about
DeFiccio and
right.
Papa Smithy.
I
with
think
them.
they're Australian, or they sounded that way.
Yeah, Papa Smithy does LCK.
Okay.
And then DeFiccio.
He does EU.
Yeah, he
Okay.
does EU. Yeah, so.
I want
But there's a lot of really good talent out there. I think the casters are the best they've ever been, and they've been synergizing really well. So I mean that you're right. That does get you more hype and into the game when you have really good calls.
Yeah, it was just they were able to like bring people in who don't even understand the game to understand what was actually happening because they
Right.
were like able to describe it so well. Yeah, but I don't know, like kind of something else that's been on my mind from watching Worlds games. Like switching gears a little bit, but like, what's with the Victor top? Like,
Why
why?
bring it up, dude? People are gonna play it in the community now.
No. It's okay if they do. I'm all
Astros,
about
you just don't want to get
experimenting.
beat by another Victor top, right? That's how it is. Because it's OP. It's so good right
No,
now.
no,
It's
I thought-
not.
okay,
It's
so,
not,
like,
guys.
I
But,
saw
okay.
it in the Cloud9 games, right? Like I'm coming into Worlds like right at quarterfinals. So I see it in these Cloud9 games against Aatrox. I'm like, oh, it's like a certain pick, right? But then Fnatic is picking it as well. Versus oh god, what's the one they're going against in the quarterfinals?
They went against why am I blanking? Fnatic versus EDG.
So EDG, that's it, right? Yeah. So like, what's up with that exactly?
So it's a specific counter pick to melee lane bullies. So
Okay.
what they're doing is they banned Urgot because Urgot and Aatrox are your pick bans right now, right? They're like
Mhm.
90, 95%. They just synergize really well with what's going on in the meta. So, and Licorice has been pretty good on Aatrox. So they're like, okay, now they're going to first pick Aatrox. And what you're doing is and this is what's been great about this meta is you get unique counter picks occurring. I don't know if you saw it in earlier, I can't remember if it was playing in groups, but Licorice had the other team pick Aatrox and he picked Hecarim top against him and
Wasn't
stomped
that
him.
NA finals?
No, I think it was play-ins. So I'm pretty sure. But either way, Licorice knew that Aatrox was good. They knew they would pick him up, and then they saved their last pick and then picked Hecarim into him, and then he stomped him. So what you're getting is really unique matchups because the meta, in my opinion, is one of the best metas that we've ever had the pleasure of like watching because Riot finally didn't fuck things up one patch before the meta, right? So one patch before World. So you're getting
they tried real hard, but yeah,
They usually
saved
do.
it at the last moment.
Well, that was one of their goals. They didn't want to shake the meta up right before Worlds for the actual pro player patch.
Yeah,
Right.
and so, but that's specifically what Victor's for. His Q shield makes trading almost impossible with him, and his range and his push. So
Okay.
for one, he can't wander as Aatrox anymore. He can't go mid, help out. He's stuck in lane. He's stuck
Mhm.
trying to farm, and he's trying to farm against someone who continually outranges him and hurts him. So
Right.
he's low on health. It's a really good dive potential too, because he can just use his R to keep up with him. Use the E for the range. Use the Q for the shield and the speed. And it's just a perfect matchup against Aatrox. So that's the meta evolving because Aatrox and Urgot are your pick bans. Well,
Right.
we can ban Urgot, let them pick Aatrox, and then we can still counter them, and we don't have to waste another ban.
Sure.
So because a lot of time, they have the people not picking first are banning out their three top picks, right? Which have been Urgot, Aatrox, and one other, Akali, Heimerdinger if you're going against G2,
Okay.
So that's what it's there for. It's there as a specific counter pick, so we don't have to waste a ban on it, and we know we can beat you in lane.
Sure. Now Victor strikes me as like super immobile as a mage, right? And like usually that is really frowned upon in the top lane. I know because I've done that and received a lot of flame for it. So like what is this? Is he playing a certain way?
It's the Q. It's the Q with the
Okay.
speed burst and the fact that
Okay.
you have very small range. You have that very short dash as Aatrox, right, to get in the range,
Right.
and then he's a mid-range damage doer. Well, Victor is a long-range damage doer, so he can't get in range, and then truly get to him. So that's all.
Okay.
That's what it's all about. And the Q keeps him moving. So
Aren't they taking fleet on it too?
yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So yeah, it's just it's combination. It's really cool to see because it is a unique counter pick to
No,
something
I
that's
love the
uniquely strong.
innovation. I
Yeah.
think that's what's fun about watching, stuff like that. It's outside the kind of, or it's inside the meta now, but like when it's being innovated, when it's being just worked with.
I think this is one of the first worlds where you don't see the Western teams trying to catch up and playing what the Koreans play. Because, like, C9, they brought out Hecarim in Gauntlet. That's where they brought it out when they
Mhm.
beat TSM into the Aatrox. And they've
Okay.
played stuff, like, Chris pulled out, like, stuff like Lysandra. He's played.
Yeah, a lot of Lysandra Chop with Aftershock. He was one of the first ones to do that in a pro
Yeah, and
play.
even Jensen's playing it now. Like, he had a really nutty play in.
And they're
the-
playing their own style. I think Astros is right in that. Is that right now C9 is not playing. For once, NA is not playing LCK behind, right? Because LCK develops the meta, and then we just play it as best we can, but we can't ever catch up because we didn't develop it. No,
Sure.
instead, they're playing their own picks, they're playing their own style, and saying, LCK, you do what you normally do, and we'll beat you before you get to that point. Because LCK
Right.
keeps drafting, Kaisa,
Right.
and they're like, late game, he's going to dominate. Well, if you end the game at 28 minutes, sorry,
It's no
you only
late
got the
game.
two
You
items.
don't get to dominate. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I don't
So-
even think it's not even just NA because you have G2, which is like a little bit of a special occasion because they're still playing Heimer bot just because they have Hjarnan. But like,
The best timer in the world.
well, he was a Heimer one trick before he went pro.
I know.
And then,
He's sick on Heimer. He beats everyone on Heimer. His KDA is something like 46 or some
That's stupid.
crazy
his
shit like that.
KDA over knockouts is like 12. It's like the highest. And like Fnatic even plays their own game. Like, and I think the one thing with Fnatic is like they have two top laners rather than like most teams bring two junglers. It's
Right.
like the big thing. Like C9 has Blabber and Sven. And I think like the different like play styles of between Bwipo and Soaz is like really big. And
Well, yeah,
I-
Soaz dominates on takes, and Bwipo just crushes on mages.
Bwipo crushes on any like he's got like a sick GP. He's got anything where he like
Where you can
isn't
carry.
leashed.
Yeah.
Like he is a really good player.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, I think talent-wise, Fnatic's got the best team, which makes me think C9 will beat them because so far,
Mhm.
talent-wise, the team with the best people have been knocked out routinely. But we should talk a little bit about the other side. So we have IG, which is the second seed from China or the LPL, versus G2, which is another play-in team, just like C9 is. And IG has the best mid laner in the world right now. His name is Rookie, and he is devastating and
He's a
absolutely a monster. Yeah, he's crazy good, and it's really fun to watch him play because he plays a lot of carry. He's not playing for the team. He's playing for his lane, and he's trying to crush it. And it's really fun to watch. So any way you look at it, we're getting a new champion. We're not getting LCK. Yes, I would rather have NA or EU take it home, but if IG does, at least it's a new region, which I'm excited for. Anything but LCK.
No, absolutely. That's fun. I think that was one of the reasons I didn't watch Worlds for a long time. It was just like, or kept up with it, it was just like Faker's Kingdom. And then even when he like went down last Worlds, it was because of that stupid meta with all the Enchanter supports. And it was just kind of like
the Ardent meta.
it was just not fun
so
to watch.
sad to see
Like,
it go.
Yeah. I hope that's sarcasm.
It is.
Okay.
I stopped playing support main because of the Ardent meta.
Did you really?
switched.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
when I switched to top because I could not stand to
I
be
think
in
we did
lane
the
for
same
one more
thing.
second.
I think that's when I switched to GP last season. Is
Yeah,
like,
because
right
it's
around the Ardent
fucking
meta.
miserable.
It
It's
wasn't
just so bad.
Yeah, I remember playing through all of that, and it was just like, I don't know. Zillion was hard to play because like you'd get his combo off right, and then you have no follow up damage. You like needed DPS on your team in order to actually win team fights.
Right, and one Janna shield would absorb your entire stun.
Oh yeah. So it really, I got to the point where I was dodging games unless I had a hyper carry ADC on my team, and I was just using the speed ups to make my team win team fights. That was how I impacted games. Ugh.
Yeah,
I
that's a dark time.
Yeah, dark times, bad flashbacks. Woo, old PTSD.
I feel like in general, this is probably the most exciting Worlds, just because it's so refreshing, not only in like the meta, but like who you see there.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
SKT
agree
isn't
completely.
here, TSM isn't here.
Well, Team Liquid carried on the torch for TSM. Don't worry. First seed NA team just comes out and tries to play an LCK style and loses. It was
Well, I mean, that
it was very reminiscent.
Very
That's
classic
T-
TSM,
that's-
yeah.
No, well, that's what did in the regular season anyway. Like you saw it against C9, they just like
X Smithy had a terrible Worlds because X Smithy is normally a really solid jungler, and he looked like just fucking lost out there. It was miserable
here's
to watch.
the only thing I have to say about that. He didn't look great, but like, what do you feel is the most important role right now at Worlds?
I'd say it's. I think it's still mid or jungle. I just do.
It's mid, and look at his mid laner. It's POB.
Oh yeah,
You need like a really good mid laner.
Yeah, that's fair. But
And-
he did make a lot of really bad plays. It was
No,
very
yeah.
uncharacteristic for X Smithy.
TL didn't play well at all. But I think like you look at the teams up there right now, you have Rookie, arguably the best mid laner in the world, best player in the world. You have Caps, Baby Faker. You have Jensen, who
He's playing his own picks, which is huge.
yeah,
he's
playing
screwing
well.
up
He's
the other
fine.
people's meta because he's playing his own thing.
And then you have Perks, who's been playing well.
He's been playing insane. He's been playing back to his 2017 form for sure.
Yeah. So
No, that's fair. That's
it's
fair.
like super, super fun to watch.
It really is. I can't encourage everyone enough. Like, just watch a few games. If you don't like it, there you go. There goes 40 minutes. Not the end of the world, but I think you'll get hooked.
Yeah.
Make sure you watch my games. My games are really, really
Yes,
good.
watching Astros play is just, you'll cry. You'll cry with tears of joy because it's just so beautiful to watch. Like, trust me, it's fun. I often will turn off Worlds games just because I see that Astros is in a game. I'm like, I gotta spectate this shit. It's gonna be good.
I can't argue with you. I mean, you're just right.
Yeah, I know.
I just bring out the highest quality content. That's why I'm here. That's why they brought me back. They're like, we gotta up the production value on this.
Yeah, when I heard I was invited back, I was really excited, and then I heard you were invited back, and I instantly felt bad about myself. So you were able to do that, so that's pretty good.
It's probably my specialty. No, I'm really good. Yeah, I feed off of the pain of others.
Yeah.
It's what drives me. So thank you for driving me and motivating me to do this.
That's what I'm here for.
So speaking of the pain of others, since y'all have both been support players for a significant amount of time, gonna have you guys talk a little bit about support and kind of tell people what you think is a good way to go into the role starting out, and some champions that you would recommend playing and why, and just some general tactics, tips and tricks for entering into the support role.
I feel like we should. I feel like we
Actually,
should
yeah,
talk
go ahead,
about
Astros.
Who we think the finals is going to be between at Worlds.
Oh,
Okay,
that's good.
so
Yeah,
some
we gotta
predictions
make our
first?
picks. Yeah, because
Okay.
trust me, my pick'ems have been so good. I'm
My
basically
pick'ems are
perfect.
so fucked. What
I
do you
know they're
do?
all so bad. I'm just kidding.
The
I would
only
never
thing I
post my
got right in
pick'ems.
my pick'ems were C9 and Fnatic making it out, and that's it.
Yeah,
I had
that's what
KT
everyone.
winning- I had KT winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's gone. Ugh.
So IG versus G2, who do you got? Are you and tell me, are you voting with your head or your heart?
See, I don't have like an emotional connection to either of these teams. So
I do really like it when the casters get tilted, though. Like, or not the casters, but like the after game analysts are like their picks are all wrong, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
That's probably my favorite of watching this so far. So, yeah, I mean, I obviously hope G2 like at least wins a couple of games early if they don't take it, but I don't think they'll take it. I think IG will win.
I want the finals to be IG Fnatic.
See, so here's my theory. If IG wins, I want Fnatic to beat C9 because I think I know Fnatic knows how to beat IG. But if G2 wins, I want C9 to win because then we have NA versus EU finals, and that's just going to be hype as shit. So
Wait, but that's
Um,
so bad for NA. We got shit on in Rift Rivals. What do you mean?
no, man, C9, man, they're a team of destiny. But the problem is G2 is also a team of destiny. So they would both come from play-ins, being third seed, and then fucking make finals. That would be an epic.
I mean,
story.
I love this. I love the story, but I love like I want to see the mid matchup where
It's like the
Rookie
Mighty Ducks
doesn't-
versus the Mighty Ducks. Like it's going to be great.
Like, who you rooting for?
Yeah, I don't know.
You mean there's not an Icelandic team to vote for? Damn it!
I,
You guys
I want to see
Go
the
watch
Rookie-
the original Mighty Ducks. You guys will get it.
I love those movies.
Have you seen those movies, Astros?
I do. I
He
have.
started at Mighty Ducks
You
4,
do?
though. You know,
You
so.
do have seen those movies?
Dude, let's do the flying V next time we play.
Oh,
okay?
hey, he does get it.
I'm in. I'm in.
I play
alright.
hockey. I gotta know all the hockey movies.
Okay, okay,
That's
there
fair,
we go.
that's fair.
That makes sense.
The only reason I really want a Fnatic IG finals is because like I want to see the Caps versus Rookie matchup again, where Rookie doesn't get to counterpick Caps every game.
No, that'd be good. I really think we can't go wrong in this finals. I would like to see G2 C9
I don't want
with
I don't
C9
want to
taking
see
it all,
Fnatic G2.
but
You don't want
no,
to see Fnatic G2?
No.
I wouldn't love to see Fnatic G2.
There's no
either.
hype. Like you
No.
already know EU
I-
won Worlds. Like
And I really feel like Fnatic 3-0s them. Like even though like that
Maybe a
hasn't
3-1.
happened, maybe a 3-1, but
do you
uh,
think we get some like all right, say it does go like EU v EU in the final. Do we get some like weird agreement where they're locking in like troll picks?
no, because they want the trophy. But I did see a Reddit thread where they were like, could we get everyone to just come mid for the first 10 seconds and dance as a celebration for EU? And I thought that had a lot of upvotes.
Wait,
So I think that would be pretty
I feel like we should just
hilarious.
A-ram it in the first game and see
That's
what
what
happens.
that was another Reddit
No,
thread.
the
I
whole
think
game.
awesome.
the whole game all mid the
Only
whole time.
A-ram.
But there's a little too much money and pride on the line to probably
No,
pull
no.
that off. You might be able to get the
Their
dance.
individual careers at stake here for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so
I think they get fined at that point.
yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
They A-ram
probably.
it,
I'm
and they
pretty
make
sure
a
they 100%.
they make
get
a
fined.
mockery of the world's finals. Yeah, I don't think that'd go over well. But my bet is IG versus Fnatic, and then Fnatic taking it. That'd be my prediction. So it'll be C9G2, which I prefer. So
I think my prefer and my prediction are the same. I think it'd be Fnatic IG and Fnatic 3-1 over IG.
what do you got, Zill?
I mean, that was my prediction, was that IG would win and then Fnatic would beat C9. Not that I want it that way, but
Right.
I
All
mean,
right,
but
we're
then
all on the
again-
same bus. So
So
at least
I
we'll
think-
all be wrong together. That'll be nice.
yes, we will be.
Here's the thing. Like as much as like I love like the run C9 went on the last split between going from last to second or
Mhm.
third. No, they finished second at the end of the split. Like Fnatic has literally played so well all year, and if there's a team right now that deserves it, I think Fnatic deserves it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it's poetic in its own way. Didn't they win the first Worlds?
They won.
yes,
Yeah,
they did. That's why you got
yeah,
Fnatic skins
K4.
out there.
or
G4.
Fnatic Gragas,
It's like, what is?
Gragas, Corky.
Janek,
Janna.
Corki.
All right.
All right. Where
Cool.
we were talking about supports. That's where we're about to go.
Yeah, let's move on to sports. Astros, you go first, man. I don't know, just like give us some intro to the role. What's your mindset when you play support? What do you think people should play? How do you think they should approach it?
All right, so if you're playing support and you're looking to like
You're looking to learn support. First,
This isn't like your autofilled support, right?
no, that you're looking to try and learn how to support.
All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to learn. I want you to watch some VODs of like pro supports for like champion, not even pros, just like one tricks of champions that you want to play. Like easy champions. Stuff like Leona, Leona. Maybe
Alistair.
Leona's a good one. No, Leona, Alistar, Braum.
And why do you consider those easy?
I don't think they're not like easy, but they're pretty like forgiving. in a
I'd say
way.
straightforward is what they are. They have a very narrow
Yes.
scope of what they're doing, so that doesn't make them easy to execute or easy to play. It makes them easy to know what your goal is. Leona's goal, you go in, right? That's what your goal is. That's what your kit is built around. With Braum, your goal is protect your ADC, right? That's what his whole kit is built around. You throw up your shield, you apply some stuns, like that. So when we suggest someone, we're not saying that they're easy to play or easy to master. What we're saying is they have a very defined role, and that's what helps you start off, is that okay, I have this very small range of what I'm trying to do. Leona, I'm trying to hit level 2. I'm trying to go in. Like you E in to someone, and then you stun them, and then hopefully you kill them. So
It builds that foundation.
Those are what?
He said it builds that foundation.
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
How to play the role. So I'm actually going to disagree with you about the Leona pick. I think that's not a good one to start out on. And the reason is because Leona, once she goes in, she's in. There's no out. There's no, oops, I made a mistake. And I feel like with champions like Braum or champions like Nautilus that are like supports as well, you definitely have that ability to get out once you're already in the middle of the fight. Either
What's Nautilus's get out?
For one, he has so much CC, more so than Leona, I think, with like his ult and his passive, and his slow, and he can queue himself out like Spider-Man if he has to, if he gets a clear shot.
Usually that's your engage.
Spider-Man Nautilus. I can't wait for that skin.
Sure. Like usually that's your engage, fine. But like you can turn around, root someone, and then walk away with your W on and survive that. I feel like Leo can't do those things as easily. I've seen so many people go in, they use her ult, and then that's it. But
I mean, that's fair. Leo has one direction. I agree. Her direction is in, and it's very rare that you just walk out after that. But I still think, like Astro said, for the foundation, you're learning a skill shot.
Okay.
You have one skill shot,
and then your ult.
Well, your ult is also a skill shot, I guess. AOE skill shot, we'll call it. And then you have your Q and your W. Very straightforward abilities. So I still think it still builds that foundation of, I have a job to do and I know what it is. Alistair, he's kind of a mix, right? Because he can go in and initiate the fight, or he can peel really well, knocking people away with his headbutt, stunning, popping people up when they get near your ADC. So you can play him a couple of different ways. I don't feel that works as well with Leona. You can hold your stun and wait for them to come in, stun, root, stun again. It's possible to peel with Leona. It's just not her ideal play style.
No, and she can peel one person off. She can't do lots of people. Where I feel like Nautilus, like with his E and with his just giant body in the way and his hook, like can really do that a lot more easily.
I think Nautilus is a really good starting support. I agree. And right now we're just talking about tanky supports, right? We talked about Naut, Alistair, Braum, Leo. You have other supports. So let's say you start support and you're like, I'm not feeling these tanks. Like, this isn't my playstyle. This isn't who I am. There are other good options for new supports. And a lot of people don't like them, but the enchanters are a really good option to try and learn support. And yes, it is, Astros. You can shake your head, yes. Where you have, I'd say Karma, Janna, and Sona are all very good supports to try and learn when you're starting off. Yeah. And what they do is they help heal your own side. They help protect them with shields, and they help poke, with a few abilities. Especially Janna is really good at peel with her ult and her tornado. So when you have a Leo come in on you, you just pop them up, and then as Zill pointed out, now Leo can't go anywhere, but she also can't get to you. It's a really shitty position for Leo to be in. Right. So try and find something that suits your playstyle. Try a few different people for a few games. Don't give it one game and be like, oh, I fed that person, doesn't make any sense to me at all. Give it a couple games, and then if it's still not working out, then maybe try and switch up the playstyles.
So in general, the playstyles are, we have 3 different kinds of supports category wise, right? We have tanks, we've got enchanters, and then last falls the mage supports. Like Brand or Zyra, almost more like cheesy kind of support picks, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're a lot harder to play support correctly. You're stealing a lot of kills. A lot of people aren't going to be happy with you about that.
Okay.
You're going to have to try it. Building your build is a lot more difficult to do because you have to vary it up each game significantly. If you're getting ahead in kills, do you want to try and help carry? Do you still have to play the vision game? Everyone, if you're playing support, please play the vision game. You need wards. You need control wards. You need a lot of control wards. You need to sweep. You need to get rid of wards. That, no matter what type of support you're playing, that is essential to the game of support. And you should be leading every single game in vision. No question about it. The only one who should be close to you is jungle.
So, I don't know. We talk about support and warding and getting vision as like a main like part of their job description. But like what what does that look like? Is there warding that's more useful than other types of warding? Are we just throwing down wards? Are we just like stacking pink wards in our inventory? What's like a better way to like think about this as far as like what our job is as getting vision?
I think it like varies throughout the stage of the game. So like early game,
agree.
you're obviously keeping vision out of, Tri-Bush or River Bush. You want to make sure you have vision control. So one, you can protect against ganks, and two, you can make sure there's no vision there for your jungler to gank you.
Okay.
As you get into the later games, the pink wards are used for setting up around objectives. So, whether you're grouping Herald or you're grouping a dragon, that's kind of where your sweeper and your stack of control wards comes in, when you're clearing out choke points and setting up for the next objective or the next rotation, which it's a lot to like get used to in the beginning. I think a big struggle I had when I started playing support was I'd stack a bunch of pink wards and then you just kind of like throw them where you are, and they're not really like super useful for that. Like, they're useful for the situation, but they don't really. They were more reactive rather than proactive.
Okay.
So just kind of like, I think support is one of the roles where you have to like understand the game, like more so than other roles. Like, your job isn't to like carry, it's more so to babysit, right?
Yeah.
So like, you don't think of any like super mechanical challenging supports, especially that you're going to pick up at the beginning, right?
Sure.
So just kind of playing the macro game and using your vision to set up proactively, or like maybe not even proactively, versus like aggressively and defensively, depending on the game situation.
Okay.
And one of the hardest things about starting off support is you are working in tandem with a random person, right? We're talking solo queue probably, right? So you and your, ADC have to be working together. And so let's say you want to be super aggressive and they want to farm, you're both going to die, and you're both going to die a lot. I would suggest anyone who's starting support, adapt your playstyle to your ADC. You can ask one question at the start of the game. I don't often, suggest talking
Was this
to
a
people
quiz
via
show?
typing. Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
ask one question at the
lifeline?
start of the game. You say
Start of the game?
aggressive or passive, and then they can tell you, and you can play accordingly, right?
Okay.
So
I like this.
It really will help you out just to know what their mentality is. So if they're like Lucian, but they're gonna farm, right? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Lucian should be a lane bully. You should be
Sure.
going in there. You should be fighting. But let's say you're in Bronze 3, right? Everyone's trying out different things. They're not really sure of what their role is yet. So this Bronze 3 Lucian says, he doesn't plan on fighting. He's not comfortable doing it yet. He really wants to focus on CS. So in that instance, don't go diving in on them, because if you dive in, even if it's a great engage, and your Lucian doesn't follow you up, you die. Lucian gets back under his turret, and then he dies. So I don't often say talk to people. I often say ignore everyone and mute all. But I think that can be a really big
You
help.
antisocial bastard. Yeah.
It's more to avoid my own tilting, because Astro's face tilts me, so like I have to like close the webcam when I'm playing with Astros, because it's the only way. It's the only way to do it, and much like his voice, it tilts most people. So
Is that better?
yeah, that is. I think our ratings just went up, so that's a nice help there. but I think that is helpful because you are so in tune with this other person. You're intertwined, whether you like it or not. Make sure that you are kind of on the same. So let's say you need to go ward. You just saw jungle top, and you're like, sweet, I can drop a ward up near drag so that we can see if mid comes down or when jungle might come down later. So you walk up there, but you don't ping, right? You don't say on my way up there. Your ADC sees a chance to jump in and almost kill someone. So he jumps in, almost kills someone, dies. You walk back in the lane, and he pings question mark on you, right? Because where were you? Why weren't you in lane? I think pings are the best way to communicate. So that way he knows, hey, I'm going up there. I'm going to ward there. So on my way, go ward, come back. He didn't dive in. No one's dead. Everyone's happy. So communication, even with things as simple as pings, will really help you out in the early support game.
Yeah. As a support, you have the ability to watch the minimap more so than the other players because you're not having to CS, right? So when it comes to maintaining vision and things like that, watching the minimap and seeing that flicker of the jungle go across a ward, like say it may have been the ward that the top laner placed, right? But he's so focused on his trading that he actually doesn't see that the jungler is coming for him. And just pinging on his screen, hey, look, you are getting attacked right now, is a huge benefit. It saves games, literally, like just pinging on people's screens. And I'm not talking about spamming them, but like just that basic sort of Overwatch communication of what's going on is something a support player can kind of do to set the pace and keep the team safe. And so when we do talk about vision, though, like I think Astros is right when he's talking about things happen. Vision is different depending on the stage of the game. So early laning phase, you are warding more or less defensively. You're just trying to make sure that you don't get ganked because early ganks are really strong right now, have been for a while. That's kind of jungle's role. They're trying to gank bot. Mid lane is trying to roam bot and kill you. So wards defensively in early lane phase so that you don't die. Like that's what you need to do. You need to survive and to win your lane. So that's what you do there. But when it comes to the mid game, I think that's where vision gets a little bit trickier and figuring out which objectives your team is going to be focusing and where you need to try and get vision or sweep vision beforehand. And that's something you're just going to kind of learn through experience, I think. But in general, a principle that I've always applied is always having a control ward out and having one in your inventory so that as soon as it gets cleared, you can put another one out again. And then having that control ward placed, I usually place it defensively so that it kind of like, unless it is situational, but early on learning, I think it's okay to just place that ward defensively. And you'll start to learn better use of that ward the longer I think you have them stay up and see how effective they are.
I think especially early learning, like what time you should start expecting like jungle pressure based off of like first clears or like you'll kind of pick it up as you go. You'll learn it against champions. Like if they have like say a Lee Sin, he's probably gonna gank you earlier than a champion like Evelynn or Kha'Zix or any of the broken champions I play. And like people say it's really hard to climb as support because, you know, you're relying on your team to carry you in a way, but like supports save lives and like supports like they kind of fly under the radar, you know, they're not the flashy LeBlancs or Zeds or Lee Sins, etc. But like you can like 1v9 as support, but they'll still honor like the flashy assassin or the AD carry. So
or the shitty jungle.
Did you get to plat playing support, Danger?
I did. I got to plat. So I started, like in 2014, I got to gold, and then I just started maining support. I think I started with Alistair.
Okay.
Excellent support for both, as I said, peel and engage. I got there. The vision game is of the utmost importance. And so when you ping, as Zill said, when you ping danger and you avoid a gank top where you would have lost, and now you know that their jungle's top and your jungle can come bot, and all of a sudden you're taking an early turret, your scoreline is 0-0-1, but you just saved a death, saved a turret, and got a turret.
They wasted their jungler's time. Yeah.
Right.
All those
So
things are great.
yeah, I climbed plat and stayed in plat for 3 seasons, all due to support. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I go mage now. I went mage for 2 seasons, but I started tank. I did a little bit of thresh, but mainly Alistair. And then I found Zyra before she was cool, and I had a lot of fun with
You
her because
hipster,
no one
you.
She
no
was
one
never.
expected
Wait, hold
her.
on. She was never cool. She was always a horrible champion to play.
What was it? Season 5 or season 6 is when she took off, when she hit, like worlds, and she was meta, and then they developed like the misfortune counter pick to her support. But so like I hated when she would hit worlds, because then all of a sudden people were banning her and people were taking her, and I was like, damn it, there goes my Zyra. So that's how I stayed up there. But I did climb with some of the simpler supports where I learned the vision game, and I learned how to protect an ADC and how to communicate with an ADC, which is really the most valuable information.
You just don't do it. If you're a support player, you got a bigger brain than the AD carry. Don't lose brain cells talking to them.
No, never talk except for that
No,
first
don't
question.
don't talk. Yeah.
I don't
ping.
even do that, dude. You can tell what your AD carry is gonna do in the first like 3 levels.
I would agree with that assessment, and
That's
I think
fair.
you can figure that out. I actually think that's a really important part of laning. I've been thinking about this for a while, but like there is a kind of like sizing up that happens in the first few levels of any matchup where someone just throws something to see what you're going to do, and you do the same. And how you react then determines usually how that person decides to play, or how you decide to play from there on out. And you can like, if you've done it long enough and played the role long enough against certain matchups long enough, you'll start to just see what kind of player they are almost instantaneously. Like if you walk up and you poke them with Sona, and you're like a Sona support, right? Like they just try to back off and run away from it. Holy shit. They will. Like you can predict that they're going to do that again the next time, and so on. So yeah, try and keep in mind those things. But on the subject of like supports carrying, I play a support mid. I play Zillion. I basically babysit people. You can absolutely climb to plat and most likely higher with like playing for your team and not actually being the carry. This is a totally viable way to do things. I think it involves a lot of map awareness. I think it involves a lot of game knowledge and communication, like with pings and so on. But yeah, totally doable.
And if you climb with support, you'll be better at other roles. I
Yes,
guarantee you. Because you'll now, like I play now a lot of tanky tops, right? I'm not carrying any games as a tanky top. Maokai walking around, soaking in a lot of damage, not carrying anything. But I've gotten to the point where I'm very good with vision. I'm very good with knowing what's going on the map. I'm doing decent with my teleport spot when they need to happen, so that we can snowball a game. And all of that is knowledge I gained through support. So you'll carry this. I love when I see an ADC have a control ward in their inventory, and I was like, ooh, that's someone who's played support before, because they understand the value of vision. And Astros, he never buys a control ward. He doesn't even need them, right? He doesn't care. But other good jungles out there normally will buy, a control ward or two, place it deep, get some knowledge, So, and I like to think that a lot of people gathered that first level of information, that first knowledge of how valuable wards are when they tried out support a few times.
Hey, Danger.
Keep going.
All I'm saying is that I had the highest vision score in the community game on my team.
That's probably.
I'm so impressed right now.
No, he's a liar.
Actually,
that
I had
can't
the
be
second highest.
true.
I'm
things
less
have
impressed.
changed.
I missed the Leona. All right, no, but like
I was number 1 if you ignore number 1 through 4. I was definitely first.
All right. Leona had 43. I had 34. So like my number, it's just glitched. I actually had 43 too, but the league client switched it around.
Yeah, league client's pretty buggy, so that makes a lot of sense.
Now I think like the comment about like if you play support, you'll be better at other roles in term. I think it's like especially true for jungle, because there's no laning in jungle, and there's not like your laning as support isn't like 1v1. So like I went from being like a gold 1, gold 2, thresh 1 trick for 2 seasons, and I switched to jungle where I have a little bit more of like carry potential because of the champions I play, and it helped me
Mhm.
bridge that gap.
Yeah.
So like what you learn as support as like a fundamental, because when I started playing the game, I was playing with like I started out like when I was level 7 through level 30, I was playing with like a diamond player at the time, and then like golds and plats, like all the way up. I got stuck playing Blitzcrank support until I could afford Thresh, and then like I
On a
learned the
budget,
game
I
on
see.
support.
Yeah.
I learned the game.
We got Budget Astros over here. He's trying to scrape together a few pennies, you know. Come on.
Dude, it was
Can
so
I buy
hard.
another hook?
It was so hard to get like
Need a
champions
hooker.
back in the day.
Oh my god. No, I think support gives you map awareness, and that will translate into any role, any champion. And that's
I think you learn like not only do you learn map awareness, but like you like while you're taking in all that map awareness, you're like nitpicking like all these little things like, oh look, the mid laner's playing towards bot side, the jungler's probably bot side. Oh, I see the jungler on a ward bot side. Look at that, I was right. Like you pick up on these nuances that like laners might see, but it takes them a little longer just because they, you know, they're so focused on like CS or like trying to get that solo kill
Mhm.
or like manipulate. Like you see the world, like the game from like a much like wider lens, you know?
Yeah.
So get out of your comfort zone, play some support.
I think everyone should have to play support for a season.
Of course, we're talking to the Lola podcast here, so 90% of these people already play support. So
Do they?
There's a lot
should-
of them.
there's a lot of support mains
I
out
guess
there.
we
It's
should
really
take
surprising.
a poll.
That
Huh.
we should do that. I'll start a straw pool.
I was gonna say, like when I put together the tournament, like it was pretty even, like across
That's
the
true.
board.
Yeah.
It was not hard to find people for roles. So,
I feel like the supports are a lot more vocal.
well, yeah,
Because we stay quiet in games so
they're like
much,
they're like
you
the
know?
bass players in the band. They just have bigger brains. They don't have as much to think about. So,
Which just hard carries. Unless you're
Yeah.
unless Astro's in the game, then he's hard carrying.
Yep. For one of the two teams.
talking about yourself in the third person now.
He always carries for one of the two teams.
Hey man.
He's either
Win
16-0
hard.
or 0-16.
Dude, games gotta go fast. I don't want to spend 40 minutes in one game. That shit better be
I
over
do.
in 25.
It's the only way I'm gonna win.
Yeah, you're
I gotta
not winning
stall.
any 25-minute
Gotta
games.
stall
so-
till I get even with everybody, and then it's over in one giant team fight. Bring the whole rift down.
Here, I got a question for you guys about a starting support champion. All right?
Okay,
I thought of
okay.
this, and we never brought it up before the show either. What are your thoughts on Taric?
Tarek's his ult is too hard to start support,
And it's
Because
not hard
it-
for Tarek. It's hard for his teammates.
and hard to do it at the right time to have it have the most usefulness.
Right.
Old Tarek, yes, absolutely, great support when you had your point and click stun, and then you just had armor. Like, yeah, that was just fine. But new Tarek, I think, is an excellent support when played correctly. I think is a very complicated support to play correctly.
All right.
All right. I actually have a question for you guys then. What do you get like as far as builds and stuff like that? Supports have a lot more active items than other champions for the most part. So there's more buttons going on, especially during team fights and things like that. Like, do you have any recommendations for like how to organize that, or like it seems like that gets overwhelming for some people, so they don't build those items. They're afraid to because it seems like more work or more things to think about. What do you have any hints for like approaching that, or just getting familiar with the items?
You got to figure out what's comfortable, like based on your hands rest. Because I know some people won't put any active items on one, or they'll like unbind their ward to like a more out of the way button so they can put an active item closer.
Okay.
I think the easiest way to do it is to work your way up, like slowly accommodate how many active items you put in your build.
That's
so,
good
like,
advice.
You know, in the beginning, you know, you're getting one, maybe two, depending on like game situation. And then as you're getting more comfortable, you know, using those active items at the correct like timings, you know, you can add that third. The reason like active items are so big on support is you can get those like non-active items that have higher base stats, but what the active like offers to the game is what makes it better in most cases than just getting
Sure.
an item without an active.
my trick for actives is I always put ward on the same number, and it's usually a little bit out of the way, just like Astro said. What I do is I bind on my mouse. Left click is always where I put my offensive items, and so I have 5 buttons on my mouse, right? So the far left, the side of the mouse, I do active offensive items, and on the far right, I do active defensive items. And then I bind on my keyboard where you don't have to change them often. So like a Knight's Vow or something like that you just have to place on your AD carry, and you can usually leave it there for the most part, unless you're getting into a fight without one, right?
Sure.
So then that way it helps with my mentality. Like, okay, I'm hitting left click. That's Righteous Glory, or that's Proto Belt, or that's something that's helping driving me forward. Or on the right side, I have something like Randuin's Omen, so something that's a defensive aura around me. So that's my trick for what I use for active items. It makes it so it's the same thing across different characters,
Okay.
but it's the same mentality.
Are there any like must build active items on supports these days that you feel like you
I mean,
should
if
highlight?
you're going tanky, I always like Knight's Vow. Zeke's is also very helpful. You're trying your best to make your ADC as good as possible, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I like
really
both of those
strong
if you're
right now.
tanky.
I think Zeke's is super strong right now.
It is. It
Yeah.
is excellent right now.
Well, cool. Let's see. I think that's all we're gonna have for tonight. Actually, we're
Do we
gonna
want
probably
to
wrap
make
up about
a
there.
final list of like actually just listing the champions that you should get? Because I know we talked about it a bit.
No, because I said we're gonna end the podcast. No, that sounds great. Actually, let's go ahead and do that.
Hey, I'm gonna end your life after the podcast.
All right. Do you want
And
to try
then-
and see if you can get all of them, Astros?
Do you want me to do it?
No, I don't. I wanted you to fail.
All right, let me.
All right, cracking
can't-
knuckles here.
Yeah.
Here
You
it
always
goes.
crack knuckles before using your brain. I get it.
Well, the brain doesn't really work. You got to rat a little bit till it starts working. So I think Blitzcrank, he's pretty good. Pretty good to start. That's how I started, and I'm the best player in the world.
That's why they call you Baby Rookie.
Wait, I don't.
Yeah,
play
are you gonna
Nick.
keep going, or is it just Blitzcrank?
Blitzcrank, Leona. I need the champion list.
Okay, I'll fill in because this is painful. We have Nautilus.
Thank you, Danger.
Yeah, I was a Thresh one trick, dude. Don't do this to me.
we have Nautilus, Karma, Alistair, Leo, Janna, Sona, Rom, and Blitz. And I
Don't
think you
play
have enough.
Sona. You'll end
You
up
have
like
enough
Blake.
different options there to really find something that'll suit your style. Whether you want to play a Blitz who hooks and brings people in, Nautilus is pretty good for that as well. Leo, you're going in instead of bringing them to you. Little bit different sides of the play style. And you have some good enchanters in there that are pretty straightforward with Karma, Janna, Sona, and then a couple of defensive guys like Braum and Alistair. I think you should be able to find something in there that you can work pretty well with.
Yeah, I like my list would be a lot shorter than this. I feel like if you're gonna do one of the hook champions or a tank, I think you should absolutely pick Nautilus. I think it's easier than Blitzcrank or Thresh. And
Agreed.
I think
No one said Thresh.
no one said Thresh, but I'm just saying like
Thresh
it's a
is-
good intro
Thresh
to
is
hook, like
is
those
much more difficult.
hook
to
champions
learn.
for sure. And then enchanters, I would stick to Janna and Sona.
Yep.
Maybe Soraka. And yeah, don't go playing mage supports until you've got a good understanding of what the support role is, because mage supports will basically teach you bad habits about what your role actually is as a support. You can pick Brandon Zyra later once you've climbed a few ranks.
Don't do it. If you're gonna play support, you're obviously playing support just to play Thresh. So just like once you're ready for it, come see me. I'll introduce you to the champion. I'll teach you how to play it. Don't go to Blake.
Blake's dead.
Yeah.
He played
tough.
Sona. Look what happened.
It's true.
But I think it's an upgrade for the podcast overall. So maybe it's better this way.
I like those delusions as well. That's good work.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna call it quits now.
All right.
So good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Later, guys.
Good night.
All right, recording stopped, and so is the stream.